Bahaghari.
Thank you. Good afternoon to our friends from the press who are here today. Thank you for braving the traffic and taking the time out to spend your afternoon with us. It's great to see many friends gathered here. This is, I guess we could consider this parang a labor of passion and love. We were approached, first of all, by a couple of people who had the Global Language Project, Rex Niswander and Angela Jackson, to add to an existing series of albums for children. The first one being Coloreando, which is in Spanish and it has won a Grammy Award, and Aquarela, which is in Portuguese. And so now we've added, this is the third in a series called Bahaghari, and each of the titles is a colorful title. So of course we put rainbow. And there are songs in the album that come from different parts of the country, different dialects, different languages, which was a musical adventure for me that speaks English and Filipino and Tagalog. To sing in another dialect was difficult, challenging, but was such a wonderful experience to do. When we were first approached, I think the first thing was we wanted in Filipino, and my answer was to Rex and Angela, you can't have an album representing the Philippines without it featuring different dialects, because the Philippines is such a diverse country with diverse cultures and dialects and languages. It wouldn't be correct if it was an album in only one. So Mr. C compiled a list of songs that we could record and narrowed it down to the ones that ended up being recorded. And it was 3 days, 4 days? 4? 3? I can't remember.
The fourth day was only to redo
what I... Yeah, at Gerard's request. Mr. C tapped some of our favorite arrangers and instrumentalists to create the arrangements. People that we had just worked with so much, and in a couple of cases, people that I had worked with, but not in this capacity, in the case of Michael. But then all the instrumentation is simple, single instrument, 2 instruments. The most full-blown it ever gets is what I, which is a few, which is like maybe like piano, bass, drums, guitar, with that, which is parang jazz, yung So that's as fully orchestrated as it ever gets, and of course it's Gerard who does it. But a lot of it was kept so simple at the request of GL. And it was just the most fun because we did it in sound design, which is owned by Sheila Francisco, which meant that there was food every day that we recorded it, and it just felt like the most enjoyable recording process, and it was that feeling of we are doing our part in preserving some of our heritage and our culture by doing this.
Thank you, Ms. Lea Salonga. And then, of course, we'd like to pick the mind of one of our brightest minds. Mr. Ryan Cayabyab, would you like to share some of your thoughts in producing this beautiful album?
When Lea called, actually she emailed me. She said she has this project and she wanted to work with me. And all I needed to do was prepare about 30 songs, 30 folk songs and traditional songs for her to choose. Then I got to work with the producers, Rex Niswander and Angela Jackson, Global Language Project. And the request was to keep it simple, to keep the arrangements very light and simple. And so the first thing I did was look for young arrangers, meaning not not my era Ranger, but the next generation Rangers, because I wanted to share with them. I wanted them to explore. As a matter of fact, the reason for getting the younger Rangers is they really have to explore also and share the idea of Filipino folk songs and traditional songs with the young people. So the best people would be the young people to experiment on the sound. And also, I wanted to make sure that the sound was not my generation sound again, but more nearing millennial sound, meaning our audience is very young, so we wanted to communicate with them. So I was thinking that those arrangers, the young arrangers, have idioms, musical idioms that they share, the sound that they share with the young people. So that's one. Number two, I have produced 2 Lea albums before with Sony BMG. Was that Sony BMG or BMG lang?
Sony BMG.
Sony BMG. Right? And then, prior to that, Lea sang for an album entitled Silver. That's the first time we did an album together. Silver was my 25th anniversary album, and that was the first time I produced for Lea. And so I knew how to work with Lea. Ang bilis, as usual. She comes to the recording prepared, and actually halos memorized yung mga Filipino songs. The only thing we did was to double check. I had people on call, meaning I called live my friends from Ilocos and from Bicol, because I wanted them to tell Lea exactly what the words mean and how they are pronounced with the right inflection. So they talk to Lea. So nakakatawa kasi yung taga Ilocos, he's a young choral conductor. When he heard that, I called him, when he said that, when I called him, I said, okay, I'm with Lea Salonga, but I told you I was going to call you because I need help with Ilocano Pamulinawin. You have to tell her how it is, what it means and how to say it. Before he talked to Lea, he announced to everybody in the house, Mama, nandito si Lea. Anyway, what do I tell you?
You're just talking about the album.
I'm just talking about the album. Chinichismis ko lang. So anyway, that's part of it. We had a grand time, sabi nga ni Lea, because we recorded in digital sound design. And si Sheila Francisco always had food. She prepared food for us. Yeah, Charlie.